This video was sponsored by the Deck of Many and their Big Bad Booklet series. Quick disclaimer! You know what you're getting into by clicking on this video. Every D&D 5e race was ranked by my own viewers during one of our last streams. Also, every race is great by the way. They all bring stuff to the table that makes them unique. And because of that, we're not ranking these races based on how OP they are, but rather how reliable their features are. So, S tier is going to have the most reliable races, and D tier is going to have the really situational ones. This is the official Plain Simple D&D 5e race tier list. Hope you will enjoy. Yuan-Ti Pureblood. A lot of races already get resistance to certain damage types, and that's already strong, but Yuan-Ti get immunity to poison damage. Considering that poison is like the second most common damage type in the game, Yuan-Ti have such a huge lead over every other race. Also, the magic resistance trait makes enemy spellcasters cry at night. Kobold. Pack Tactics is a skill reserved for rootless killers, and this race gets two different versions of it. Being sensitive to sunlight isn't a huge issue if you play your cards right, and most combats take place indoors anyway. Tabaxi. Having a climbing speed is one of the most reliable features a race can have, especially at lower levels where terrain can be hard to navigate through. Tortle. The highest AC in the game can only be acquired with Tortles, VIP race right here. Changeling. Changing your appearance at will is an infinitely flexible skill. Can't think of a situation where this would ever be unreliable. Warforged. The only race that doesn't need to eat, drink, sleep, or breathe. In a world where all those things are shackles to humanity, Warforged are infinitely superior. Simic Hybrid. This race gains new abilities as the game progresses. Just pick the right perk based on how the campaign is turning out and you'll never have any issues. Burden. Magic resistance, once again, is OP. The healing trait is OP. The telepathy is OP. The saving throw advantages are OP. People have been sleeping on this race for far too long. Verdun is power. Satyr. As a bard, you don't get to pick this race. The race picks you. Half-Elf. This race is relevant at every waking moment of play. The traits are so simple that they pop up multiple times in almost every session. I personally think it lacks flavor, but this is a reliability tier list, so we didn't factor that in. Halfling. The lucky ability is so simple yet so useful. Your chances of rolling a 1 on your d20 is 0.25%. Tiefling. Fire res and a slew of really powerful early game magic. Knowing how to speak Infernal is also really great, as almost every campaign leads up to some devil encounters. Human. Variant human features make the race infinitely flexible. Feats are amazingly unbalanced, and choosing some over others just feels like an instant win. Grung. You can coat all of your piercing weapons with free poison. For fully fledged D&D classes, some of them need to fight tooth and nail for even an extra d6 in damage. Grung gets 2d4 solely by molesting the tip of their weapon. Not only that, but they also get immunity to poison and a 25-foot long jump. Needing to bask in some water during a short rest is more than fair for traits this good. Aerococra. Having a flying speed is incredible, and is by far the best trait from this race, but more experienced DMs will start nitpicking when you don't have enough room to spread your wings, so keep that in mind. Goliath. These big kids do what they do well, which is soaking up damage like a sponge. It becomes more of a vanity in later levels. Aasimar. So many super cool abilities that are sadly locked behind a long rest. The healing ability is amazing though, and one of the reasons why I always consider playing this race. Goblin. Fury of the Small is the best flat damage perk in the game. The bonuses to disengaging and hiding also makes it seem like you have a level in Rogue. Furbolg. The go-to class for tree huggers. All the features scream Ranger and Druid, and allowing spells to regenerate after a short rest gives Furbolg so many chances to shine. Dragonborn. All the different Dragonborn colors make them near infinitely adaptable. Breath weapons aren't nearly as reliable as free spell slots though, but still amazing. Lizard Folk. Having a swim speed is a very undervalued trait, and any class that can use their unarmed strike as a bonus action has my vote. Kalishtar. Advantage on wisdom saves? I'll take that any day. You also think psychic damage resistance is trash until you actually get hit by it. Dwarf. If you're looking for armor and weapon proficiencies, this one has you covered. Just wish so many classes didn't already offer perks like these, taking away the specialty if they ever overlap. Loxodon. The trunk can be used as a third arm. What more do you want? Charm and frightened conditions are also really annoying, and having advantage on those saves is really nice to have. Minotaur. Another great race that can use unarmed attacks amazingly in combat. Minotaurs pride themselves on goring as many people as possible and shoving so many unexpected enemies straight off cliff edges. Leonin. The roar feature is great for striking fear into everything you can get close enough to. Unlike most saving throws, it gets stronger with your constitution. I just wish the range was longer. Half-orc. They have a trait that stops them from dying. What more do I have to say? Triton. They get the 3rd level spell Wall of Water, which in my opinion is one of the most useful innate spells to have out of any other race. The other perks are good, but nothing tops Wall of Water. Genasi. All the spells that come from being a Genasi only regenerate after a long rest. Also, they're really situational. Hobgoblin. They become more useful the more allies they have surrounding them. Without counting NPCs, there needs to be at least 5 other player characters at the table to ever get the full bonus. I feel really sorry for that one dude somewhere in the world playing a Hobgoblin in a one-person D&D party. Bugbear. Their arms are so long that it increases their melee attack range to 10 feet. They also have a feature that works really well for surprise rounds, but if your party's constantly being the one that's surprised, then this trait is worthless. Kenku. Mimicry is amazing, but your limited vocabulary is going to be a huge disability later down the line. Shifter. These half furries will never truly know the feeling of being a full furry. Either you give them a fully fleshed out beast transformation, or you create another variant human. The choice is yours, Wizards of the Coast. Vidalcan. The bonus to your favorite skill check is nice, but with a feature that specific, I wish it was stronger. Elf. The amount of sub-races Elf has scares all the noobs away. I'm sure all the D&D veterans are cringing with B-tier Elf right now. Centaur. Do I even need to explain how having the bottom half of a horse can be a bad thing sometimes? No, I do not. Orc. Aggressive is a great skill for closing distance between enemies. It can only be used in combat though, and any other time you're doing nothing with this trait. Sure, carrying more stuff is nice, but every other big race can do that too. Gith. Their spells are really the only thing helping them stand out, which isn't saying much because the spells themselves are really specific and can only be used once every long rest. Lokatha. The saving throw advantages are amazing, but having to submerge yourself in water every 4 hours is more of a liability than a reliability. Chat couldn't decide if it belonged in S tier or D tier, so here we are. And last but not least, Gnome. I'm sure the stone camouflage or tinkering can be cool, but I wouldn't call it reliable. Once again, chat had an S to D tier split on Gnome, so into the Enigma zone it goes. Also, wow, this video wasn't nearly as long as I thought it'd be. If you're looking to be as reliable as possible in your D&D games or searching for a really niche race with some cool abilities, then you know which ones you should be focusing on now. Just don't play D&D with your stats being the only important part of your character. Go with what you think sounds cool at the time and you'll already be playing the game at its highest performance. Thanks for watching, and a reminder that this video was sponsored by the Deck of Many's Big Bad Booklet series. For all you new subscribers out there, the Big Bad Booklet is a monthly zine by the Deck of Many about boss monsters for D&D 5th edition. This month, come meet Velai Axel, an ancient sea monster that lives to kill. Will you stop this eldritch being or be lured by its song deep into the depths? You can check out this bad boy and many more at bigbadbooklet.com. Link in the description.